And if I do not have the answer for you today, I will get you back through email. And also, if I am speaking too fast and you are not able to follow me, please let me know, and I will try to slow down. Good to go? So first of all, let's take a look at a couple of the case studies. For the first case study I chose is for the Special Olympic project that we have done in Macau in China. So the Special Olympics, they are a non-profit organization which help with athletes who have disabilities. So in their case, the Special Olympics that's in Macau, they are in a 2-story building, and they need a public address system for making, such as like for making announcements, like alerting students it is time to get to class, or like it is time to get off class, and also for like emergency announcements. So for their solutions, they purchased a total number of 10 X30 SIP paging gateways. So for the reason why they need the SIP paging gateways is they already have some like analog speakers right on the hallways in their buildings. So they need to transferring the analog signals to the digital or like the IP signals. So that's why they need the gateways like for translating the signals. And along with the 10 SIP paging gateways, they also purchased another 10 network cabinet speakers and installing in the places where they do not have the analog speakers. So as a result, they have their own public address systems, and they have improved their announcement systems, and they are able to make like announcements and even like payback on some for some events like fundraising. So that is the brief description on the Special Olympic project that we've done in Macau. And for the second case study I chose is a city surveillance project that we done in the city of Mianyang. So Mianyang is the second largest city in Sichuan province in China. Not too far away from Chengdu. It's like 200 miles from Chengdu. And several years ago, if my memory serves me correct, so it was in 2008, and there was a earthquake of magnitude of 8.2 happened in Wenchuan, the city called Wenchuan. So Wenchuan is not like very far away from Mianyang. So, and the earthquake affected hundreds and thousands of people, residents there. So as part of the people in Mianyang, their safety concerns and security, they submit a public request to have some sort of emergency alarm system for alerting people like get out of the building if the earthquake comes again. So for their solutions, they initially installed 6 network cameras and 11 network speakers, and followed by the second installation, they add an additional 17 network speakers and also some like IP cameras for increasing the levels of communication between public authorities and residents. So as a result, they have their like emergency alert systems, and they are able to alert individual versus the speaker systems, and they have improved their security level in the city in general. So that is the city surveillance project that we have done in the city of Mianyang. So for both of the case studies that I described above, they are both done by our ZYCOO IP audio solutions. So it is a combination of hardware and software components. For the software section, we have developed 1 systems and 2 software applications. And for the hardware section, we are currently running 4 different types of endpoints. we got speakers, intercoms, gateways, and also phones. And before we move on to the software section, let's have a very quick view on the basic architectures. So I know that you guys might not be very interested in a true technical perspective, like how we actually build our solutions, but it is important to get a sense of understanding like what kind of technology we have actually applied to our solutions and how we different from another solution. So let's talk about the platform first. So for our platform, we actually implemented with the Docker technology. So Docker is also what we call the container technology. It allows you to in a application inside the containers. So from what the OS can traditionally provide, like runtime environment, system libraries, any coding that you need to run a application, it will all pack and ship in one container. So it avoids one problem, like no matter what systems that you're going to deploy the applications or the server from, it will work because like everything is inside the container. You just need to like unseal like and unbox the containers. So we have separate our systems into different containers. So like for one container, we got the SIP phone system in it, and the second container, we got the paging systems, and the third container, we got like the video system. So I believe so far we have split our systems like into 9 different containers. So in case of one of the container, it crash or it burns out or it, like for whatever reason, it won't implicate in other containers, so the another container will be just like running fine. They will do their thing, do their work. So even like one of or like two of the container it burns out or it broke. So comparing to the traditional way of how we like get to build applications. So traditionally we start with like a very small piece of coding and or like probably just like a few features, a few functionalities, and we putting more features and more functionality in it, and the software application goes bigger. So, but however, as the software application goes bigger, it contains more code. It also means it has a higher risk to contain bugs, or if and one piece of code that's in the system it crash or like it burns out, the whole system can go down. So using the Docker container technology, it avoids problem like that. So, and also that's the major reason why we use the Docker to get our system safer to use. And as we can see from the diagram, there is like a little cloud in the middle called the IP audio center. So the IP audio center is our system. It basically controls everything in the solution, from hardware to software. So like all the endpoints like speakers, phones, intercoms that you will use, or the applications, software applications that you will use, they are all controlled by the IP audio center. So that is the brief overview of how we generate our solutions. Let's move on to the software section. So as I mentioned earlier, that we have implemented one system called the IP Audio Center and 2 software applications. So the IP Audio Dispatch Console, it is a desktop software application. And for the IP Audio Dispatch app, it is a mobile phone app. So for user role here, we got the most 2 common user role here first would be the administrator. So the administrator would be someone who has at least some sort of technical background, because this person needs to make the configuration from the systems and also need to make the registration for the endpoints. And the second user role is the operator, but the correct name should say it could be dispatch user, but I prefer to call it the operator because it is easier for me to memorize it. So for the operator, it will be the person who is sitting in front of a computer and using the dispatch console or the dispatch app and monitoring all the devices and doing like playing background music, doing broadcasting or paging. So that are the main tasks for the operator. So for our IP audio center, it is a system. So you can deploy it on a hardware server or a cloud-based server like on-premise. And you'll be also doing all the endpoint registration on the IP audio center as well. So doing the registration is relatively straightforward. So you just need to create an account for each endpoint. So one account, it will contain the account numbers and also the passbook. So after you get into the specific endpoint's IP address, you just need to like put into the audio center's IP address and also the account information like account numbers and passbook, and it will automatically link the endpoint to our audio center. So you will be able like to monitoring all your endpoints from one end from the software. And also after you're done with the registrations, you can create the paging groups. So creating the paging groups, you can do like putting all the speakers on the first floor into one group and all the speakers on a second floor into a second group. So and we support unlimited paging groups, so you can create as many as you want. You can just put like one speakers into one group or like 10 or 100 speakers in one group. So that is up to you. And are you also doing like registering the dispatch user account from the audio center as well? So move on to the IP audio dispatch console. It is a desktop software application. We support Windows, Mac OS, and also Linux. So it is multi-platform. And as we can see from the interface, we got like a lot of buttons and functionalities here. So take a look on the bottom navigation bar. On the left side, we got like call, intercom, speed, monitor, and whisper. So those are the basic telephony features. And also from the right side of the navigation bar, we got like play, page, alarms, meeting, volume, and start. So the play would be you need to choose the specific music file or music folder to play the background music. And page would be like paging, doing broadcasting, and alarm. You can click and send on a fire alarm or like a emergency alarm. And also we got like meeting and volume, like addressing the volumes, and start would be like stopping the audio. And on the left side of the navigation bar, we have like console. So the console here, you can see like all the endpoints that you have registered through the systems and monitoring their status. So you can actually like see all the endpoints. Are they like online? Are they offline? Are they like busy? And for music, so the music will be the place where you can upload the music file, and also meeting and tasks. So tasks, you can actually like schedule a task. So let's say I need to play a announcement at 3 p.m. this afternoon. So I can schedule this announcement ahead of time, and the announcement will be automatically played out at 3 p.m. exactly. So that is the tasks. And also we have alarm, so you can set the alarm. and that's the night mode on the dispatch console. So for the dispatch app, it is a mobile phone app. We have both iPhone and Android version. But the features on the dispatch apps comparing to the dispatch console are less, but you can still like monitoring all the endpoints or the group status from the dispatch app, and you can also like play the pre-recorded music files or like audio source, and also like alarms, and also check the logs from the dispatch app. So I would say the dispatch app is a perfect solution if you are not in front of your desktop and the full set of functionality is not capable at the moment. You can still use the dispatch app to do a lot of things. So yeah. So here's the major features I have listed out for our solutions. So we got like paging groups, we got emergency alarms, pre-recorded message, and also the text-to-speech feature is also available. And we got like call monitor, meeting, multi-user privilege. So for the multi-user privilege, we have implemented a total number of 12 levels from the highest one to the lowest 12. So let's say if one paging group, it got more than one dispatch user, they both like controlling the paging group. So the dispatch user who has a higher privilege level can override or terminate some operation that is done by the dispatch user who has a lower privilege level. And also we got the service priority. So the service, I believe we have implemented a 5 different levels of service priorities. So the lowest one would be the background music. So for example, if I have my background music going on and I need to make an announcement, my background music will be stopped and it will go back on after I finish my announcement. So that is the, so each function it has a service priority here. And for API, we have the full set of API available. And also for IP telephony, so we have implemented the major IP telephony features in our system as well. So here are the here's a full list of features on our systems. I mean, like our solutions. So if you guys are interested, I can send you the presentation slides, and you guys can take a more profound look on the features. So, for like time consuming, I guess I'm not going to like explaining all the each features in detail here. So please let me know if you need a presentation slide. I will happy to send it to you. And move on to the hardware section. So let's talk about the network speaker first. So for network speaker, we are currently running 3 different models. For the SC15 network steering speakers and the SW15 network ComNet speaker, they are both for indoor purpose. And for these 2 indoor speakers, they are using 2 drive units, 1 tutor and 1 woofer. So one's controlling the low frequency sounds and one is controlling the high frequency sounds. So it pursues what we call the left and right sound. And also for both of the indoor speakers, their rate of power is 15 watts. And for the SH30, it is a network horn speaker. It is a outdoor speaker, waterproof. And unlike the indoor speaker, the purpose for the horn speaker is to deliver a audio as clear as you need. So this horn speaker is decided with a 2-inch mid-range drive unit. And I believe the frequency range on the horn speaker is from 400 to 8 grams. And the rate of power is 30 watts. So for safety intercom, we are running 2 different models, the IA03 and the IB03. So as you can see from the pictures, the appearances, that the major difference between these 2 models is the IB03 got this like a little fancy built-in HD cameras in it, while the IA03 does not, because the initial design purpose for the IA03 is for voice intercom only. So that's why we didn't get the HD cameras on the IA03. But if you already have some, let's say like if you already have some IP cameras, and your IP cameras, they are also supported the RTSP. So the RTSP is the like a standard protocol. If you already got some IP cameras at your home or at your office, you can connect your IP cameras to our to our IA03 and achieve like the same or like even better solution to it. So let's have a quick example here. So let's say you got some like IP cameras at your home. So you can actually make the registration for the IP cameras and connect your IP cameras to the IA03. So right after, if like someone is clicking the button on the IA03, it will pull out all the connected cameras real-time image. So you can actually watch what's going on that floor, like all the area that is around the IA03 from the connected cameras. And we also have this kind of showcase video on YouTube. So if you are interested, can send you the link, the YouTube link. So that's our 2 models of safety intercom. So move on to the flip paging gateways, also 2 models, X10 and X30. So the major difference between these 2 models is their working temperatures. For the X10, it works from a -20 Celsius to a positive 50 Celsius. And for the X30, it works from a -40 Celsius to a positive 75 Celsius. So for the X30, I would say it's more like to work under a like in the industrial, under a tougher environment or like a tougher weather conditions. And we have been selling a lot of X30 to the cold countries like Russia. And for X10, for the newest version on the dispatch console, we actually implemented a new feature using X10. So that is called the external audio correction, which means so you can actually use a 3.5 mm jack cable. So one end of the cable is connecting to the X10, another end is going to connect to the audio source, like your phones or your computers. So you can play the music from your phone or from your computer throughout the speakers using our X10. So that is the new feature we have implemented like a month ago for the newest version on the dispatch console. So those are the 2 major differences between the models. And for flip phones, also 2 different models, the H81 and H83. And for the H83, it is using a 2.8 inches LCD color screen, while the H81 using the backlight screen. And also the 2 different models, they support like different lines of fiber count. So the H81 support only 2 line fiber count, and the H83 supports 4 lines. So those are the 2 major reasons. Major difference between these 2 models. So for advantage, so comparing our solutions to the traditional analog public address systems, as we all know that for the traditional analog systems, it will require you to have a very large central amplifier. So it will have having a lot of cables connecting to the amplifiers and a lot of cable connecting to the speakers, to the cameras. For our solution, we are IP based. So one PoE cable is all you need for each endpoint. So you don't even need the extra power cable for the endpoint. So one PoE cable is all you need, and it will do everything for you. So one PoE cable. And also for our solutions, we have unlimited paging zones. So for the traditional analog system, it's pretty limited on the paging zones, and also they have the limited features. We have a lot more features in our solutions, like scheduling a announcement, things like that. And also we are centralized management, so in which you can actually monitoring all the endpoint status from the dispatch console, and you'll be able to know all the endpoints are they functionally working or not. So if you are using a analog system, I think if you have a speaker right in the middle of a forest or in the middle of nowhere and it broke, you won't be able to know it. But since we are centralized management, so we are able to knowing all the endpoints are they functionally working or not. So those are the and also we are multi-platform install. So for both of our all of our application software applications, we support Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, mobile phone apps Android and iPhone. So pretty much if you are using a computer to use our software application, it will get things running and work. And comparing our solutions to the another IP public address systems. So the advantage we have, I would say, is the protocol that we use. We use the standard SIP protocol. So the SIP stands for Section Initiation Protocol. So it is a standard protocol that transferring the media data between two endpoints. So using the standard SIP protocol, which means we are able to make integrations with a third-party endpoint or a third-party system, which also means you do not have to use our system and our endpoints at the same time or together. You can just using our endpoints and along with a third-party system, as long as the third-party system, they support SIP, and they are able to make the integration with our endpoints. Or you can just use our system, not our endpoints. There are a lot of SIP-enabled products or endpoints right now on the market, so you can actually use a third-party SIP endpoints and make the registration on our system. We also support it. So for most of the, I would say it's almost all of the IP public address systems, they use what we call the private protocol in the purpose to type you up. So if you are using their system, you need to use their endpoint. If you are using their cameras, you are using their systems, and you need to use their speakers, you need to use their intercoms and etc. So we are able to make the integration with third-party systems and also third-party endpoints. So for this SIP protocol, I would say is the major difference between our solutions to another IP-based solutions. So where we can actually use our solution. So I would say pretty much anywhere that you can think of, our solution can apply to. So for transportation would be like in the airport, like in the airports or in a subway station, highway or freeways. So healthcare would be like clinics or hospitals, education like schools and college, elementary schools, middle schools, and yeah, schools. So retail would be like hotel. So we have done a lot of hotel projects, and also for shopping malls and like grocery stores, and also like manufacturing, so industrial manufacturers, and also like city surveillance. So like the Mianyang project, the city surveillance project that we have done in Mianyang. So that is another example. So pretty much like anywhere that you can think of, I believe our solution can apply to. So, and I have made a small conclusion on the advantage on our solution. So first will be the system architecture. So as I mentioned earlier, that we have implemented our platform using the Docker container technology, so which make our system safer to use. And even like if one of the container is crashed or it burns out, it won't implicate within other containers. And for the second one, the public IP address. So since we use the standard SIP, the SIP protocol, we are able to make the integrations with a third-party system and third-party endpoint. So that is another like big hot point for us. And for the third one, video intercom. So if you already have some like IP cameras at your phone, and they are also support RTSP, we can make the integration with our IAO3 and achieve like those like amazing functionalities to it. And for the fourth one, IP phones. So as you guys may or may not know, that ZYCOO has embedded in PBX. So now it's like a little bit more than 10 years. So we have this full set and comprehensive telephony features. So that is also why we implemented the most major telephony features into our system. So you can actually use one solution, and you got the pagings, and you got the telephonies, and you got like all the features in one system. So yeah. And I believe that is all my presentation is. Question time. Do you guys have any questions?